The Guiding Star. Once upon a time, the happy eggs were taking a vote to decide what place they should visit next. They optioned going to the mountain, valley, or the lake. Victory wanted to go to the lake, but the majority voted in favor of the mountains, and that made her upset. So when the happy crew got to the valley, she decided to play a joke on her friends and hide away. While other eggs were busy observing the incredible mountain views, Victory split away from the group and ran in between the big, tall rocks, trying to hide so well that it would be really hard to find her. Finally, she stopped by one of the rocks and decided that here will be her hiding spot. She stood there for a while until she got bored and hungry.
"Well," she sighed, "I probably hid too well. They will never find me."
So she decided to go back, but almost instantly realized that she had no idea which way she came. She wasn't tracing her route, so she didn't remember how to get out. And there was no sign of her friends anywhere near. Victory was lost. First, she attempted to walk back, assuming where to turn and where to keep straight. But after walking through the mountains for some time, she felt even more disoriented. Victory didn't give up, though. She came up with a different solution. She decided to call her friends over. She called each name twice, but nobody responded. Then she remembered that Geek had taught her that if she ever gets lost, she can look for trees and rocks with moss and see what side the moss was growing on. That side would point to the north. She looked around and found a couple of big rocks with moss on their sides. Then she saw a tree and walked around it, discovering moss on it as well. The moss on the tree grew in the same direction as the moss on the rocks.
"That way is north," she concluded excitedly. "But I don't even know whether I should be walking north or south, or east or west,"
she added desperately a few seconds later. Meanwhile, the day turned into the evening and the sky became darker. It was also getting colder in the mountains. She sighed loudly and sat on the ground with her head down. She knew that her friends would be looking for her, but what were their chances of finding her in this maze of hills and rocks? Victory felt helpless and hopeless. More than anything now, she wanted to go back to her friends. She wasn't upset with them anymore. In fact, she felt guilty for making them worried.
"I'm so sorry," she whispered to herself. "I've been so selfish. If only I could see my friends again."
At this moment, she raised her head and looked at the evening sky where she saw a crescent moon and the 3 stars. One star was bigger than the other 2 and was shining brighter. That star was beautiful, and Victory just kept looking at it. Seems a fair entertainment for a lost and hopeless egg, isn't it? The shining star was so hypnotizing that when Victory saw how it took off and flew forward, she thought that it was all in her imagination. But it wasn't. The star did fly forward, and Victory followed it immediately. She ran through the rocks and hills without knowing where the star was leading her. But Victory knew that she had to follow. She felt it in her heart. So she ran and ran, with her head raised high, until the star had stopped. At this moment, Victory looked in front of her and saw the happy bus and her friends right next to it. She ran up to them and started hugging everyone.
"Where have you been?" the eggs inquired. "We were looking for you everywhere."
Victory told them how she tried to hide away and got lost. She didn't tell them about the star, however. For some reason, she wanted to keep it to herself, like a little secret.
"I'm so sorry I made you worry," she said with regret. "We forgive you and we love you," the eggs responded. "But please never joke like this again." "Never again," said Victory,
and all the friends hugged her. The end.